This new bird flu is really bad. I mean, historically bad. The worst bird flu ever in history. The H5N1 bird flu is wiping out everything, and this new bird flu is really bad, and I mean historically bad, as in maybe the worst bird flu ever in history. Now, this new strain of the bird flu has already killed over 58 million birds. Now, that number is just continuing to rise at an alarming rate. So 58 million birds have already been killed by this bird flu. And now, the bird flu has been an issue in the past. There's been other times where the bird flu has killed large percentages or large amounts of animals in the wild and just animals out there in general. Now, particularly one year that comes to mind is around 2014, 2015. You had about 50 million birds in the United States that were killed. You know, a lot of them had to be killed by farmers and various things to not continue to spread it. And this particular version of the bird flu, it is affecting wild animals at an alarming rate. So what scientists and other specialists are saying, that the scenario that we are seeing play out right now is the worst case scenario. Now, it's just continuing to grow. The story is, ever developing, and I'll continue to follow up on it. And if need be, I'll make additional videos covering about it, updates, and so on and so forth. Now, what risk does this bird flu pose to humans? Now, a couple of different risks. So number one is, food security and the economy. So as humans, we have to eat on a daily basis, and with the amount of animals, so we're talking about chickens, turkeys, and other things that we eat on a regular basis, just so many of them dying off. So food security. Also the economy. There's farmers and various people that work with these animals. Their livelihood is based off of these animals producing money for them, and if they're dying off instead of producing the money that needed, it could affect people direly in an economic way as well. Now, as far as, physically, because we're talking about a virus as well. Now, we just came out of the COVID pandemic, went through the COVID pandemic, everything with it. The national emergency just recently ended, actually. And, everything that we've had to live through, from the shutdowns, everything that's affected economically with that, not to mention all the deaths that we've seen with, Trump, the money, and everything. That's the most important thing. People are worried, and there is scientists that are worried about, this bird flu, because of how much it's spreading in animals, that it could potentially cause a pandemic amongst people. Now, with that, bird flus in the past, that they have been transferred on to humans. Humans have had the bird flu at various points. Now, it's never gotten to the point like how we think of COVID and other flus that are out there that spread during, cold season and people get sick, and it hasn't necessarily gotten to that point with various bird flus in the past, but because of the amount of animals that are affected, there is always that risk, that danger, something that we have to be mindful of, that it can, get into humans, that it can mutate, that it can, end up being something a lot bigger. And with bird flu, it's not, spread wildly or spread a lot in the human population, but at times where it has affected humans, very sick, it's caused deaths, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So as of right now, there's a new strand of the bird flu that's going around right now. It's affecting a lot of wild animals and domesticated animals as well. They're dying at an alarming rate. It's one of the biggest bird flu outbreaks, if not the biggest, in all of history. Now, it hasn't affected humans, to the point where it's affecting us physically. Economically, and for people that work in that field, food security, those are things that are at risk. None of this is good news. I wish that I could report it a little bit more, positively. It's something that I'm going to keep an eye on and update on the channel as need be. If you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me.